Presented by Lowe's, and this is the Hall of Fame Classic Championship game presented by Hotels.com. Tuesday night, a gorgeous night, beautiful downtown Kansas City, playing for the trophy. 13th ranked Arkansas against Cincinnati, a pair of unbeaten teams. Along with Coach Mark Adams, I'm Mark Neely. Coach Jeremiah Davenport has scored in double figures in every game this year for the Bearcats.
He's the heart and soul of these Bearcats who are undefeated. He's playing with a purpose. We'll explain that throughout the broadcast. 19-7 in the semifinals. This guy's a warrior with a big personality. And for the Razorbacks of Arkansas, Audis Tony. He's my favorite hog. You know why? They never have to run a play for him. He's the most unselfish player on this team, as per Coach Musselman. He went for 13 points, 9 rebounds in the victory over K-State last night. This is a selfless hog coming tonight to take on the Bearcats.
Day one yesterday, Cincinnati beat Illinois by 20. Arkansas got by K-State. By the way, Illinois beat K-State in our third place game just a short time ago. But this one is for the trophy between Arkansas and Cincinnati. We are ready to go from T-Mobile Center. Arkansas going to wear the white with the cardinal red trim. Cincinnati in the black with a white trim. Doug Sermons, Jerry Pollard, Paul Sills, our crew. Ball in the air. The first possession belongs to the Hogs.
Really good spacing, good ball movement early for the Razorbacks.
Note looking for Vanover. Finds him. 6 to shoot all alone. Great pass from Williams to Note to begin the game.
Great possession, great patience coming out of the blocks for Arkansas. Really well executed. Everybody touched it. Everybody got involved. Unselfish basketball at the end of the possession.
Jalen Williams is 6'10". He leads Arkansas in assists. That was his 19th assist of the season. And Cincinnati turns it over on their first possession.
Well, you can't draw it up any better as a head coach for Eric Musselman than to come out and execute that way on the very first possession of the game. Really impressive.
See the starters for the Razorbacks tonight. Floater goes up from Devo Davis. Micah Adams-Woods handles the point guard spot for the Bearcats. Newman, 3 off the left side. Vanover tips it. It was last touched by the Bearcats. And there's the head coach, Eric Musselman, in his 3rd season. Last year, an Elite 8 run before being knocked out by the eventual champion Baylor Bears.
Well, he's coached at all levels of college basketball, professional basketball. Really has a deep Rolodex of plays, knowledge, innovation.
Missed by Note. Quick outlet.
Now the key is to get Jeremiah Davenport a touch, get him involved early. to Julius from deep.
Let's step back off the right side. Note has Tony coming down the floor with him, but JD will slow it down. Trying to feed Tony, who apparently clearing out, commits the foul. Season 1 for Wes Miller. He's the first coach in the history of Cincinnati basketball to begin his tenure 5-0.
Well, and he's made his mark on Cincinnati. While Luke Fickell is the king of Cincinnati, you got to think that Wes Miller is not far behind as his right-hand man right now. I mean, Cincinnati, these are the glory years of athletics in Cincinnati right now, with what's going on in football and now with Wes Miller in basketball.
Drive and a score for Adams-Woods. And what Mark's referring to on the college football playoff standing side, Cincinnati, the first group of 5 team to get in the top 4. They're number 4 right now with the standings announced tonight. Note.
Great pass.
Wow,
great
what a
pass.
Finish there by Audis Tony.
Audis Tony, again, knows how to read a defender and knife to the rim. And Jalen Williams has such good vision. You could see him look over his shoulder and give kind of a look at Audis Tony, and Tony read it perfectly.
2 quick assists for Jalen Williams, giving him 20 on the year. He's only turned it over 6 times. John Newman III with the left hand. Rebound for Williams and a Cincinnati foul. That's on Adu.
Watch Jalen Williams. Watch how he looks right over his shoulder. See how he looks over his left shoulder right there? And then Audi's Tony recognizes that John Newman III had turned his head and looked at the ball. And whenever you see the backside of a defender's head, you knife right to the rim. And nobody better in the country than Audi's Tony from what I've seen from all the games at Arkansas.
Jalen Williams, 6 points, 8 rebounds in their matchup yesterday against Kansas State. Turning, shooting, it falls off for Connor Vanover.
Yeah, the Bearcats going to want to run, get a little bit of tempo here.
They get Mike Saunders Jr. quickly in the game. He had a huge game off the bench against Illinois last night with a game-high 20 points.
With Tony matched up with Davenport, that's a fun matchup right there. 5 in white versus 24 in black.
Newman on Williams, looking where to go with it. 6 to shoot. Newman hands it off. Adams Wood's going to have to put it up. Long pass, and Davenport there defensively deflected that off of Tony. And it's Cincinnati ball.
And Davenport's just playing with such a purpose, offensively, defensively. He's a verbal leader of this team and just sprints back defensively and just makes the hustle play. Just enough of the tip on his pinky, and it turns into UC Bearcat basketball.
Saunders brings it ahead. Devo tried to punch it out from behind, but the pass, the miss by Newman. Back to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is already 0 for 4 in three-point shooting to start the night.
You know, interesting substitutions right now early in this game. You got Mike Saunders, who's hello and goodbye. He runs baseline to baseline in 2.9 seconds, by the way. That's elite. And he'll match up now with Chris Likes, who's also fast with the ball. 2 Jets going against each other. Number 11 in white versus number 3 in black.
Davenport missed a 3. Who touched that last? They say it's off Odi Aguama. Well, frenetic start, but not a ton of scoring 4 minutes into the game. Early 2-point lead for the Razorbacks. Is brought to you by Hotels.com. Members save 30% or more this Black Friday. And the Boulevard Brewing Company, the Midwest home for fine ales and lagers since 1989. Power and Light District, downtown Kansas City. We are right in the mix of that at T-Mobile Center. Championship game of the 21st Annual Hall of Fame Classic. Early 2-point lead for Arkansas. Wes Miller's team. He's one of, 4 guys in new jobs that are off to 5-0 starts.
Yeah, Wes Miller. When you think of the history of the coaches at Cincinnati, Ed Jucker, who won back-to-back national titles, Tay Baker, legendary coach who coached both at Cincinnati and Xavier, Gail Catlett, Bob Huggins, Mick Cronin. None of them went 5-0. Wes Miller did.
With an impressive 20-point win over ranked Illinois yesterday to get him to 5-0. Chris Likes in the game. Muday's in there. Muday making a drive to the bucket and scores over Victor Locken.
That should be an assist for Jalen Williams. And that was a rocket shot across the floor. See if Mike Saunders can get downhill here. Boy, a lot of help. A lot of help.
Tony and Likes came over to help defensively. Nowhere for Saunders to go.
Jalen Williams again. I mean, he fires a fastball right there. And Amude takes it home. I just like the way Jalen Williams sees the floor and finds open teammates. I mean, he's like a point center out there. He sees everything.
Screen Aguama. Saunders off the left side. Not a great shooting start for Cincinnati. 1 of 8 from the field. Cincinnati foul against Micah Adams-Woods. This Hall of Fame Classic, part of the college basketball experience, and the Hall of Fame induction on Sunday. You and I had a chance to attend. It was outstanding to see these folks inducted. Lynn Bias was inducted by his mother, Dr. Lenise Bias, and his family here as well.
Who is your favorite inductee?
Well, I really enjoyed Greenwood, talking about the UCLA days.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked Hersey Hawkins because of the story when he scored 60 in a game. He wished he would have gotten 70 and not given it to his teammates at the end. I thought that was the best ever.
Nice step through there by Audice Toney to knock it in for Arkansas. That's 4 points for Toney. He has half their 8.
If you want to learn how to contribute to your team and not worry about if your coach runs a play for you, just watch Audice Toney, number 5 in white for the Razorbacks. That's a charge.
My partner is right. Doug Sermons on the baseline concurs. Charge on the young man from Russia, Victor Lakin.
Yeah, Jalen Williams has shown that he has an extra sense to this game starting tonight. As a passer in the post on the offensive end, then the rotation taking the charge. So far, Arkansas has been very impressive. Cincinnati got off to a slow start last night.
Yeah, they were down 15. Kofi Coburn in Illinois wound up winning by 20. Just a hair strong there from Note. DeJulius weaving through traffic. Looks around, decides to shoot from the right elbow and scores.
You know, it's a part of the game that nobody ever talks about, but David DeJulius is a great pivoter. I mean, he locks down that pivot foot, and he may go around the world 6 different times in 6 different ways and not travel and still find a way to give up a pass or a score. Really well done.
Moudet, no. Tumbles to the floor. Lakin's going to bring it ahead. 6'11" sophomore.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
When non-point guards try to be point guards.
Toney trying to get by Madsen.
Boy, they're really using that diagonal pass from the post down to the offside wing. They saw something on video. There's a reason for that.
Saunders trying to jet past Likes, who has wheels of his own. First foul on Likes. You mentioned Hersey Hawkins. Bradley played in Bradley mid to late 80s, over 3,000 career points. Was the Valley Player of the Year a couple times.
Yeah, they asked Hersey Hawkins, of his 14 records for the Bradley Braves, which one was he most proud of? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, maybe he had the assist record or maybe he had the free throw record. He admitted he didn't even know what the other 13 records were. All he knows, he was the greatest scorer in history at Bradley and number 10 in the history of the game. Hersey Hawkins, he just wanted to flat out score, period, end of story.
And did it at a Hall of Fame level.
That's exactly right.
Davis, a bucket, and an unhappy Wes Miller calls a timeout for Cincinnati.
Timeout, Cincinnati.
And he's in the ear of Jerry Pollard as we go to break. 6-point lead, 12:51 to play, first half. Arkansas leads by 6, 12:51 to go. Just a couple days shy of Turkey Day. We wish you an early happy Thanksgiving from downtown Kansas City. In last night's game, Mark, Wes Miller's Bearcats were down 15 to Illinois, and Kofi Coburn was having his way down low. Timeout called by Wes Miller, and from that point on, the game totally changed. I'm not saying this is an identical similar situation, but it's close.
Yeah, it feels the same. And last night, Kofi Coburn, he was matched up mano-a-mano with Adu down low, and no one could handle him. And so Wes Miller decided to go and surround Kofi Coburn, which turned into a game-winning strategy where they outscored the Illini 63-28 for the remainder of the game.
Larkin. Julius has to run it down. Still plenty of time. Julius gets in the lane, spins, little fade away, got it.
Again, see that pivot? It's like a whirling dervish when he gets into the paint. Look it up, kids. It's pretty cool.
Whirling dervish.
Yeah.
Makes me think of the Tasmanian Devil from my days watching cartoons.
Similar type deal.
Which I still watch.
Just more graceful. Take a look at the whirling dervish inside of David DeJulius. Watch him set his pivot foot. There it is. It's the right foot. Pivot, pivot, back. There you go. Knock it down. He does that consistently. He's one of the best pivoters I've seen.
Hayden Koval's in the game. He set the screen there. DeJulius launches a three.
Was he feeling it?
Cincinnati had missed their first 5 3-point shots of the night. They hit one there, and that's 7 points for DeJulius. Cincinnati foul underneath with Likes taking it into the crowd.
David DeJulius feeling it from downtown. This kid's a real leader. He's been through a lot in his life, and right here, he's feeling it from downtown, keeping Cincinnati in the hunt.
Number 1, Gonzaga. Timmy, wow.
Crazy. They're hungry to be stars.
More on the attack and slams it down.
When the lights go out, my light will only shine brighter.
Just a handful of minutes from getting started from Vegas. That rematch of the Final Four matchup that last season ended with Jalen Suggs just inside midcourt 3 to end it. But we welcome back Dickie V. The cancer treatments have gone well, and he'll be back at the mic tonight.
Well, it's wonderful to see him to be able to participate in his passion. But in 1996, I'm in an elevator at the Final Four, and in walks Dickie V and this beautiful young lady who happens to be his daughter. And he turns to me and says, "Hey, this is my daughter. She's a tennis player at Notre Dame," and just brags about her for the entire going up to about the 26th floor. And you know why? He has a great passion for the game, and obviously thrilled for him to be here tonight calling the biggest game in the country. I'll never forget about the 1 minute of time. That's all I've ever spent with Dick Vitale, but it was 1 minute of pure joy and passion for what he loves the most, and that's his family. So Dickie V, welcome back. Be joyful tonight. We're joyful to be here calling a game as well, aren't we? After the COVID year, it's just fun to be back, Mark.
Well, the Likes free throws makes this a 3-point lead for Arkansas. DeJulius has scored the last 7 for the Bearcats. Cincinnati started 1 of 8 from the field. They've hit 3 of their last 4. 3 of those 4 all from DeJulius. Aggressive defense for Devo Davis earns him his first foul.
Yeah, Devo Davis has been instructed in no uncertain terms. Don't let David DeJulius go anywhere. If he goes to the men's room, Coach Musselman wants to know which stall.
From there, he's on his own. Saunders. 3, Koval. Likes. He could take over a game when he comes off the bench for the Razorbacks. Offensive rebound, keeping it going for the Hogs. Got Kamani Johnson in the game. That 3 off the left side, and Kamani Johnson making his presence felt with a rebound. Likes, blind pass. Wade fouled by Koval. Well, it looked a little discombobulated, but in the end, Razorbacks are going to get a chance to get some points on this possession.
Yeah, it certainly didn't have the same flow as the opening possession of the game for sure. But Trey Wade, I watched him during his career at Wichita State. He's one of those junkyard dog kind of guys. You know, just goes and does a couple little things, gets a body on you, gets you an offensive rebound. By the way, Sylvester Ritter was the junkyard dog, used to enter the arena with another one, bites the dust, in case you didn't know about that.
I did not.
South Coliseum, the old wrestling days.
Is that wrestling or wrestling?
It was wrestling.
Okay.
It was wrestling.
There is a difference. Wade played about 5.5 minutes last night's game against K-State. Saunders jogs it up this time.
You know, it feels like Arkansas has outplayed Cincinnati to this point, but Cincinnati just kind of hanging around right now. Have not played very well yet. They will. They are deep and talented.
Devo Davis, quick pass. Wade. Note. Floater. Short. Trying to get it back. He does. Newman trying to tie it up. Davis launches a 3. Wade. Bodies flying around.
Wade's just got a nose for the ball.
Blocking foul on Newman. Well, the Bad Boy Moors battle for Atlantis. Got the quarterfinals coming up tomorrow. Take a look at the field, which includes the reigning national champions.
Man, Danny Hurley and the Yukon Huskies off to a great start. Syracuse versus VCU. Syracuse went down to defeat the other night.
A Likes miss, and Newman clear. Cincinnati down 4, but like you say, it seems like they should be down more. And here's a 3 to try to make it a 1-point game. It's off the mark from Adams Marks.
Guess who got the rebound? Trey Wade just sniffs him out.
Driving. Not there for Tony. Adams Woods down the floor. Adams Woods on the mark this time with a 3.
Mike Saunders had his fist up for about 5 seconds after he threw that pass to Mike Adams Woods. That's confidence in your team member.
But I'm with you, Mark.
Oh, nasty screen.
Saunders into the backside of Trey Wade. 3 missed by Note. I think you felt that one was so close. Adu lays it in, and Cincinnati has taken their first lead.
Mike Saunders gets completely blown up, gets off the floor in a heartbeat, and then finds a way to get the ball up the floor effectively for the running Bearcats.
Likes off balance. A Cincinnati foul. Fasten your seatbelt when you watch this one, folks.
There's any question about the toughness of Mike Saunders, it just got answered. Now watch how quickly he gets up. He's got a job to do. Then he gets the rebound, pushes it up, the simple play, and the Bearcats go down and score. That is toughness personified by Mike Saunders.
He's kind of clenching his teeth here. He may be getting some more playing time because Micah Adams Woods just picked up his 3rd foul. There's still 9 minutes to go in the first half.
So Audice Tony just came and gave Saunders 5, as did Devo Davis. You think they don't recognize that that's a tough guy right there? That shows some class there too by those 2 Razorback players going and acknowledging that Saunders got up and made that play. Basketball should be a brotherhood like that. It shouldn't be chippy. It'll be just like that. That's good stuff.
Tied at 14. Over the top. Adu. Williams trying to hold his ground. Picks up the foul. His first.
And Wes Miller just finds a way, doesn't he?
No question. I mean, there's still tons of basketball to play here, but after that timeout, Cincinnati, who certainly looked to be being outplayed early in the game, came back, had a brief lead. Adu trying to give it back to him from the line.
You know why he's so effective in those mid-half timeouts? Because of all the chess pieces he has available to him. This is a really deep Cincinnati team. I mean, you've got a bunch of big guys like Lockett, like Adu, Hayden Koval. And you got big guys like that. You got DeJulius, you got Saunders, you got Micah Adams Woods. I mean, he just has a lot of different parts and pieces that he can adjust on the fly effectively.
Saunders trying to punch it away from Devo Davis. Williams comes crashing in from the right side to clean it up and tie the game.
Jalen Williams, my player of the game so far early in this game. He's been really good.
Adu banging into him, turns, faces up, spins again, shoots off the mark. Note falls down along with Lockett. Second foul on Lockett.
Yeah, take a look at all the transfers there. Mississippi State, Clemson, Wake Forest. And then, of course, UNC Greensboro, where Wes Miller used to coach, and 3 of his best players came along with him. You know, I talked to Ernie Ziegler at Mississippi State during the summer about Abdul Adu, and they really wanted him back. But they had recruited a 5-star recruit. Adu didn't feel like he was going to get the same run. He's one of the great defensive players really in the history of the SEC. I mean, he blocks a ton of shots, over 250 blocked shots.
Saw A.J. McGinnis there in the boot. He's one of those transfers. He's out right now with a left ankle injury, a high ankle sprain. Likes. Short. Williams.
And wherever the ball goes, it seems like Williams finds it.
He's there.
See if he can pass out of this thing now. You can use your dribble. That should be 5. That should be 5.
It is.
He should have used his dribble right there. Could have got out of the 5-second count.
Under 8 minutes to go in the first half in this championship game from the Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City, tied at 16.
You know, Fran, when you talk about BYU, Gonzaga, and St. Mary's, those three programs are now carrying the banner along with Gonzaga. Once upon a time, it wasn't always that way, but what Mark Pope has done at BYU has just been a tremendous lift to the Cougar program. Of course, Randy Bennett is like always there, always figures it out. It might take 5 Australians to get it done, but he figures out a way to bring those Aussies over and get them to play together, which they do extremely well. Matthew Dellavedova, by the way, was my favorite Gale of like all time.
It's great to see the success he had. Eventually winning an NBA title with the Cavs. Arkansas started this game 4 of 8 from the field. They've only hit 2 of their last 15 shots. That's what's gotten Cincinnati back into the game. Davenport's been quiet so far. No points for him yet, or for Saunders for that matter, for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati brings those waves of fresh bodies to you defensively.
Good defense. Tony holding his ground. Made it a tough shot for Davenport.
All these Tony does so many little things that add up to wins. I watched him at Pitt. I loved him there. He's even taken another step here in the Arkansas program.
Williams.
That's a walk. Speaking of defense, Hayden Covell right there, big time defense. Moved his feet. As many block shots as Adu has had through his career, Covell has had even more. Over 300 block shots in his career.
See the turnovers, 10 total in the game. DeJulius. He was really the one with his shooting to get Cincinnati back in this thing. Saunders looks like he wants to put one up, and he drives to the lane and lays it in, getting past Lights.
Well, he gets downhill. We saw it last night. 20 points. Got a little road runner in his game. Every time he takes off, I hear beep, beep.
His first bucket of tonight, he had a game-high 20, as you were alluding to last night. Deflected, loose ball. Tony gets to it, trying to go up. Oh boy. From our angle, that looked like a clean block for Davenport. Well, Travis Kelce in the house supporting his Bearcats. Of course, the Chiefs come back to life themselves last handful of weeks after a lot of people in the country were leaving them for dead, but happy that his Bearcats also right now. College football playoff standings, new one out tonight. Cincinnati, first group of 5 team to get in the top 4. They're number 4 right now.
Travis Kelce, handsome, talented, athletic. The only thing he and I have in common is that we're both UC Bearcat grads.
Well, in my mind, has been the best tight end in the NFL for a long time.
I thought you were going to say something nice about me.
I'm going to leave you hanging on.
No, you're going to leave it. You're going to leave me on that, right? Way to go, Pards.
Saunders. Newman, open 3. 3-point lead for the Bearcats. First basket tonight for John Newman III.
Yeah, John Newman III gets it open because he's a guy that oftentimes defenses will make him prove that he can make that shot. He just proved it one time.
Davis blocked by Covell. Who touched that last? Pollard and Sermon's looking at each other. It's going to remain with Arkansas.
Yeah, Mike Saunders, he changes this team because he can get downhill. He can find open shooters. Good shot preparation there by John Newman III. His dad, really good player for the Richmond Spiders once upon a time.
Championship game here in Kansas City, the Hall of Fame Classic. Last tournament, in-season tournament like this won by Cincinnati was the 2018-19 season, won the Emerald Classic in Niceville, Florida.
Also, if memory serves, in the NCAA tournament, a Reno team, University of Nevada, excuse me, I go back to the old Big Sky days. University of Nevada knocked off Cincinnati in the NCAA tournament. Guess who the coach was? Mick Cronin on the Cincinnati side, and Eric Musselman on the Nevada side. So there's some Cincinnati fans that sort of remember that.
Yes. Note got called for going over the back. By the way, the last Arkansas in-season neutral court tournament that they won, 2006-2007 season, winning the Old Spice Classic in Orlando. It's been a while since they've won one of these.
So many great players at Arkansas: Sidney Moncrief, Corliss Williamson, Joe Johnson. I mean, just big top players, and that's a big time play by Devo Davis. Excuse me, Aunties Tony.
Saunders.
There's Davis again. I'll correct myself again. It was Davis.
Vanover. Big man lays it in. And a run here by Arkansas has given them back the advantage with under 5 minutes to play in the first half.
And here come the Hogs, and here come their fans. I mean, this is a true road game for Cincinnati as far as the crowd goes.
Tip. Vanover tip. Okwama. Saunders wants it back. To your point, though, Hogs fans travel well. About a 3.5-hour drive from Fayetteville up here. Leaning, spinning, Newman. 6 to shoot to Julius. Little floater in and out. Good defense. Davenport able to get that right arm in there to bat it away.
Boy, this is when Arkansas is just so dangerous. They turn turnovers into points right away as Devo Davis brings it home. Whip it good. And guess who threw it? Jalen Williams. He got a little bit of Patrick Mahomes in this game, by the way.
4 assists for Williams. Manson driving. Almost looked like
that was a double shot
on that, yeah.
That was a double shot. He shot it and then tipped it. Does that count as 2 shots or 1?
Counts as 2 points. Davis got tangled up there as all kind of got stuck. And we come to a timeout with under 4 minutes to play. 1-point lead for Cincinnati. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Cincinnati's had to claw back from that early deficit, and it's been a fight back and forth.
It has been, and we just saw Mike Saunders there. He's the catalyst for that bench depth charge of Wes Miller. And then Jalen Williams has been the catalyst as a starter, but Saunders is the guy, he gets downhill. He brings energy. There are 2 kinds of players, energy givers and energy suckers. And let me tell you something, Mike Saunders is an energy giver.
Williams looking, boy, stumbled all the way into the backcourt. Saunders on his hip. Note spinning, tough shot. Will not fall for him.
A great help by Locke and good footwork by Madsen.
Note off to a 1-for-8 start from the field. Now who came in as their leading scorer, averaging 19 points per game. Spinning, looking. Rebound, put back there. Jarrett Hensley in the game here in the first half, getting some opportunities.
One of those transfers from the Spartans of UNCG that followed Wes Miller to Cincinnati. They feel like he's got a real big upside. 6'8" sophomore. Right there, Hensley with the deflection.
We'll have the Continental Tire Challenge coming up. Number 5 Duke takes on number 1 Gonzaga at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. That's Friday night, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on ESPN and the app. One app, one tap. Gonzaga's got quite a week going.
Yeah, they do. I don't know who does their scheduling, but I'm glad I don't have to face that schedule.
Mark Few's got something to do with that.
Yeah. He ain't scared, is he?
No. three. Note, big rainbow.
Jeremiah Davenport, the reason for that miss. He got right into Note. What a catch by Adu.
Arkansas now 0 for 8 in three-point shooting. Adu. Vanover adjusted that shot just enough.
And Adu faded just enough. If he was balanced, he would have got an offensive rebound on the stick back.
Likes bounce pass, a jump combined with a bounce pass for the Vanover layup.
Boy, this feels like a coaching chess match.
No doubt.
Just feels that way, that we're going to go down to the wire and somebody's going to make a play or somebody isn't.
Hensley.
He might have walked right there.
2-1, got to put it up. 3-1. John Newman III, a huge shot for Cincinnati with the shot clock winding down.
Boy, a great defensive possession by Arkansas turns into a wonderful three-point shot by John Newman III. That was a big-time shot against a great defensive sequence.
Likes trying to scoot past Saunders. He gets that to go.
He's pretty fun.
Exciting to watch.
Between he and Saunders, you can watch them all night. They're as fun to watch as any guards around. And they're matched up against each other.
Micah Adams-Woods on the bench with 3 fouls here in this first half for Cincinnati. So Saunders getting even more playing time here in half number 1. Coming up at the intermission, the E-Trade halftime report. We've got that number 1 versus number 2 matchup going on ESPN. And Wisconsin St. Mary's in the Jim Maui Invitational title game.
You know, Mark, before we get too far in, I want to give a shout out to my dear friend Duger Balcom, who has helped off the floor at Cameron Indoor Stadium last night. You know, Duger and his family have had a history of heart ailments. He texted me right before the game as I reached out to him. Duger, a dear friend for me and my family. He's helped my son Jimmy as Jimmy started down a career path in the Army, in the military when he was at VMI. And Duger's one of the great people in the business. He's home. He's resting well. The defib worked. And so, Duger, I love you. I'm so happy you're okay. I worried like crazy about you. Every basketball fan in the country sends us your best, our best for you for a speedy recovery. You're one of the best dudes in the business, period. End of story. I love you. Come back soon.
Duger, the Citadel head coach.
Yep.
Not much different shot clock to game clock here, just a couple of seconds. Arkansas can play it down almost to the end here. Arkansas led by as many as 6 early. This 4-point lead is the largest for the Bearcats. That's a quick 3. Williams trying to save it, flips it back, goes flying into the crowd, and now Newman sees Locken down the floor, and then he walked with it, anticipating some help from his teammates coming into the front court, but now Arkansas will get a chance to get that final shot.
How important is this game tonight? Watch Jalen Williams. This is how important it is. He goes 3 rows up, says hello, jumps back into play, and hustles down the floor. And you gotta love that. He's played his butt off tonight.
As he does every night.
He does. Love his motor.
Wait a minute. No issue with the clock here, and they're going to take this out once again. Doug Sermons at the scorer's table was working on some housekeeping, and play started before they were ready to go.
Yeah, 7.1 seconds versus it was under 6 before. Officials right on top of it. Watch Williams on the stick back. Just keep your eye on the big fella going to the offensive rim. Watch for Audi's Tony. Knife into the basket, number 5.
Williams going to have to put it up at the buzzer off the back heel. And it's Cincinnati with a 4-point lead over 13th ranked Arkansas at the half of this title game of the 21st Annual Hall of Fame Classic. 4-point lead for the Bearcats. Now it's time for the E-Trade halftime report. Let's send it to the studio with Zubin and Fran. Fellas. And the 21st Annual Hall of Fame Classic presented by Hotels.com. About ready to start half number 2 from downtown Kansas City. This championship game, a 4-point contest between Arkansas and Cincinnati. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday night. Happy early Thanksgiving to you and your family. With Mark Adams, I'm Mark Neely. Great effort from both teams, but what's most intriguing is the Miller and Musselman head coach chess match going on today.
Yeah, we're going to see some interesting things at halftime. I just watched the teams come out, and Wes Miller just had a private conversation with Jeremiah Davenport, and I'm sure it was one of those discussions about, I believe in you, go manufacture some points for us with your effort. Don't worry about scoring, make plays for us. And Jeremiah Davenport, 0 points. He averages 12 points a game. 8 different players have scored, including Audis Toney with 6 points, been really, really good. And then look at the 3-point shooting. Arkansas 0 for 10. And oh, by the way, J.D. Note and Devo Davis are combined 3 for 18. And so you got to think that Coach Musselman had a similar discussion with his 2 fine scores as well.
With Cincinnati with possession to begin the second half. Adams Woods, who saw his playing time limited in the first half due to 3 fouls. Point guard for the Bearcats.
I'm going to tell Jeremiah Davenport, you got to go to the offensive glass, manufacture points that way, get to the line, make some plays.
Shot clock was winding down. Adu with an offensive rebound. Back to Adams Woods. In and out. As Vanover is knocked hard to the floor. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Championship game of the Hall of Fame Classic. This is the first meeting between these teams since 1997. The first meeting was in 1958 at Allen Fieldhouse in the NCAA tournament. Oscar Robertson had 56 points and Cincinnati won 97-62. Bearcats have won 3 of the 4 all-time meetings. Vanover with a basket to get the Hogs going here in the second half.
Of course, Oscar Robertson was the first African-American to break the color barrier for the UC Bearcats. All he did was lead the Cats to the Final Four a couple of times. Never won a national title, but what an elite, tremendous Hall of Fame player. Maybe the greatest player of all time. Everybody talks about Jordan. Everybody talks about LeBron James. Everybody talks about all those guys. I got to tell you, I saw Oscar Robertson in person, and he was LeBron James before there was a LeBron James. You need an assist, he'd get you assists. You need to score, he'd get you a score like Jordan.
Hard to beat the Big O, huh?
The Big O. My grandfather's favorite player. The Big O, Oscar Robertson, was mine as well. I've interviewed him about 2 or 3 times, and you just feel like you're in the presence of greatness. Plain and simple. He was in the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
2005, I believe that was, with John Wooden,
Dean Smith, Bill Russell, and the Big O, Oscar Robertson. Try to beat that foursome.
Yeah, that was the first induction class in the College Basketball Hall of Fame here in Kansas City. Williams finds Vanover, a block by Adu. Toney. Wow! What a move by Audis Toney.
Man. Like a jackrabbit.
Toney with 8 points has made it a 1-point game. DeJulius, lots of dribbling, and then a little bit of a shot to the face. And that.
Audis Toney. Hey, everybody pick up your jock straps. Audis Toney just took it to the rim on you. Whoa. Elusive.
Then you can use some hand sanitizers after you do that.
That would be the prudent thing to do.
Hard foul from Devo Davis. Yeah, the energy level from both teams has been outstanding all night. I know it hasn't been a great scoring game on both sides, but the energy's been terrific.
It has been terrific. And you know what's really inspiring is David DeJulius and the journey that he's been on over the last 12 months. He lost 25 pounds. He was in the darkest place of his life, he told me. But now he's glad it happened because it served as a foundation for the rest of his life. A foundation built on his faith in God. He started to understand what his limitations were and decided to play to his strengths to find out who was he, to find himself. He completely turned off the TV to knock out the negative factors in his life. He started reading more, and when Coach Wes Miller came, Miller had him read, "The obstacle is the way, excuse me." And Coach Wes Miller mentored him daily He talked about adversity shaping who we are, and now David DeJulius is in a great spot in his life.
Great story for Note. An important shot. He had a rough first half. Knocks down a 3 there to tie the game.
Well, we talked about J.D. Note being 1 for 9 in the first half. Balance. Cobra-like right there with the extension.
Arkansas fans got the Woo Pig Suey going here as their teams come back to tie. DeJulius jumper from 15 rattles around and in.
He plays with a different level of joy now than he did a year ago. He loves playing for Wes Miller. It's been a marriage made in heaven for this competitive young man who came from the darkest place, and now the sun's shining again in his life.
I guess the moral of the story, if you're having mental health issues, there are people out there that can help you. Speak out.
That's exactly right, and that's what DeJulius did. I mean, he left the team for a couple weeks last year because he knew he was in a bad place, but he asked for help, and that's the key.
He's hit with an offensive foul there. Likes knocked to the floor. Likes gives him a little grin and tap on the chest like, got you that time.
There's DeJulius there. Boy, he's just so good, so strong as Wes Miller. You think those two don't have a close relationship? I mean, players feed off that. When they see their head coach that enthusiastic, I mean, he's the winningest coach under 40 in the country. And we might be looking at the next Krzyzewski as far as career wins go. Who knows? It's early, but boy, he's had a lot of wins early in his career.
Tony sealed off by Newman. Williams 3. Batted around. Tony gets it back for the Hogs.
You know what? I just compared a North Carolina guy to Krzyzewski.
We'll let it pass.
Let's go Roy Williams. How about that?
Hey, winningest coaches under the age of 40. The list is led by Wes Miller.
You know, he's a great teacher. What I love about the way that he teaches his team, he can turn a player negative into a positive. I'll give you an example. He was talking to one of the players on the team who may not be the most gifted point guard, but a really good finisher. And instead of telling him not to lead the break, he explained that you're one of the greatest finishers I've ever coached, and I want you to finish. So let DeJulius lead the break. You run the lane. He took a negative and turned it into a positive because all the young man heard was, I'm a great finisher. He plays to their strengths and plays to their positives. Won a national title at North Carolina, wrote a book about his experiences winning that national title. Really talented teacher in a positive and interesting way. He engages so well.
Likes ties it at 35.
Chris Likes takes the charge and then goes down and knocks down a bucket.
Adams-Woods will reset it. Shot clock at 4. Koval 3.
Over the 7'3" Connor Vanover. That's a big time shot.
Second made 3 this season for Hayden Koval.
He's going to do it again. Vanover from downtown.
Offensive board. Tony leaning in. Lost it. Gets it back. Finds Williams. He's fouled by Odi Aguama. Timeout. Well, the Arkansas Razorbacks, as soon as they landed in Kansas City a couple of days ago, immediately got on the bus, went to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City. We'll tell you more about that trip down to 18th and Vine in KC when we come back. Game of this Hall of Fame Classic Championship contest. The Arkansas Razorbacks landed in town on Sunday, got on the bus, immediately went down to 18th and Vine in Kansas City to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Bob Kendrick and his staff so accommodating, and it was a very informative, educational time for the Razorbacks.
I got a chance to talk to Devo Davis about the experience. Devo, really good baseball player, as a shortstop and pitcher up through high school. And what struck Devo was the statues. He looked at Buck O'Neil, had big hands. I'll get into Buck O'Neil in just a minute. And the stature of Satchel Paige. In fact, Devo is built a lot like Satchel Paige, the great legendary pitcher. You know, but I've got to give props to Eric Musselman and his wife Danielle, because they took time to explain the importance of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. And I asked Devo Davis, what did you specifically learn from that experience at the museum? And he said, a lot of information we haven't been taught. Coach Musselman has taken the time to teach his players the segregated history of Major League Baseball. It's been called the national pastime. But at that time, the national pastime was divided in two, among whites and blacks. And Buck O'Neil, who could have been the chosen one, he could have been the Jackie Robinson who broke the color barrier, but he was a little bit too old, as we see the charge right there on Mike Saunders. He was a little bit too old, and he missed the window, and Robinson was chosen. And Buck O'Neil, the great Kansas City Monarchs manager, they asked him one time, do you ever feel like you got robbed because you weren't at the right time? And he said, I was right on time. He was a man for his own time at that time. And Devo Davis is right. There's a lot of information we haven't been taught. And if you're an educator across the country and you get a chance to come to Kansas City with your class, go to that museum. It's a wonderful example of what our country once was, where it's progressed to, and how we can get better together.
Amen. Likes. Mamude. Back to another tie game at 38. Just over 5 minutes into the second half.
I feel like we're in the NCAA tournament here. There's a warning now on Eric Musselman for coming out of the coach's box. So that's the official warning. If it happens again, it'll be an automatic technical foul.
Coach Musselman not excited about Doug Sermon's decision on that. One warning served up. Shot clock slips under 10. Saunders, that's a 3. Locken comes crashing in. It bounced off Note right to Aguama. And Cincinnati back in front.
There's that depth. The Russian nightmare. Victor Locken, Odi Aguama. Those two are both so active on the offensive glass.
Williams takes a seat amongst the photographers.
He's gone in twice now. Third row back here, and now into the photographers.
Well, the Jim Maui Invitational has gotten to the championship game. Going to see Wisconsin and St. Mary's on Wednesday.
Randy Bennett in the West Coast Conference. What a early non-conference season they are having. Of course, Gonzaga, the #1 team in the country. BYU. Mark Pope has that program turned in an elite direction. Of course, St. Mary's is always in the hunt.
Second foul on Newman. Going to put Likes at the line.
So other than UCLA in the Pac-12, are any of the other teams in that league comparable with Gonzaga, BYU, and St. Mary's? I mean, Oregon's pretty good. Washington, no. Washington State, no. Cal, no. Stanford, no. Arizona, maybe. Maybe.
It's early.
Maybe. Wichita State should have beaten Arizona, by the way, just saying. I'm just stirring it up.
You do that very well.
I noticed you parachuting out on that one.
Locken had it punched from behind by Amude, and it goes off Cincinnati. Nice defense by the Hogs. Foul on Locken.
Yeah, Locken sometimes tries to do too many things and make a play. He's got no business doing that. I mean, he is not a point guard. That's the second time we've seen him implode leading a fast break for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Jalen Williams taking another charge. Just all the different things he does.
He's been the player of the game for Arkansas for sure.
One and done after the Likes miss. Saunders racing towards the rim. Williams denied him the opportunity to shoot that. Newman elects to put it up. Rolls around out of bounds to Arkansas.
Boy, Newman just seemed confused on that play. Instead of just taking it strong to the rim, he was looking for other options. Got to stay aggressive there.
Well, Cincinnati 5-0. They have never trailed at any point in the second half of those 5 wins this year. They have led throughout the second half here. We had several ties. Arkansas looking to take the lead here. But a high pass behind Note. Arkansas, who has really been bad from beyond the arc, 1 for 14, turns it over.
Cincinnati makes everybody bad from behind the arc.
Arkansas was 3 of 22 3-point shooting last night against Kansas State. Of course, Kansas State was also 3 for 22.
Yep. Yeah, good news and bad news, right? Good news is held them to 3 for 22. Bad news is we shot 3 for 22.
Another chance to take the lead back for the Razorbacks. Note, the drive, the floater,
wow.
Good. So here's the first time all season that Cincinnati has trailed in the second half, and it comes just under 13 minutes to go in game number 6 of the season for the Bearcats. And the Hogs fans have come alive.
Yeah, look for DeJulius to make a decision here. It usually makes intelligent ones. There it is.
That was a very intelligent decision.
This game's easy when you got a point guard like him.
Likes. And he makes a wise decision to get it to Tony.
Boy, 2 as good a point guard plays back-to-back as you're going to see DeJulius first, then Likes second. And on D's Tony, guess what? He's open again.
That's got the crowd into this game. DeJulius, crossover. Note right to base. Adams Woods.
Chris Likes just got blown up.
Note trying to create. The floater fell to the floor, as did Williams, and that allowed Micah Adams Woods to come away with the rebound. 3 from the left corner. DeJulius for Cincinnati has 14.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Chris Likes, it's your turn. This is fun.
Back and forth we go in Kansas City. The championship game of the Hall of Fame Classic. What a game going on in downtown Kansas City.
High-level basketball. David DeJulius knocking it down. Wes Miller rooting on his point guard. Can Cincinnati hold on for the Hall of Fame Classic Championship?
But the Zags might be bluer than the Blue Bloods. 2 great teams.
Gonzaga and Duke.
2 diaper dandies. Experience Gonzaga Duke. Friday at 10:30 ESPN.
Of course, Gonzaga and UCLA going on right now over on ESPN, so don't look too far ahead. The Zags with Duke later in the week. We are feasting on Feast Week. Take a look at some of the champions. We added one just prior to we took the air here in Kansas City for this title game with Virginia's 58-40 win over Providence, winning the Roman Legends Classic. This game right here, Hall of Fame Classic, classic being the great word, we may have a classic here. 4 straight lead changes, last 4 possessions, 7 ties, 7 lead changes in this game. The largest lead for Cincinnati's been 4. Largest for Arkansas has been 6. That was very early in the game. It has been, for the most part, tight throughout and well played.
Yeah, especially defensively. There have been so many entertaining matchups. And Chris Likes has been a spark for the Arkansas Razorbacks over the last 5 minutes of this game. He's hunting.
Wow, J.D. Note. A quiet first half. He's coming alive in the second now with 10 points.
Yeah, Eric Musselman wanted to get him in rhythm. And J.D. Note was more than happy to take the shot. You could see him just hunting that shot.
And the offensive foul on Davenport, who's had a very quiet night, scoreless offensively.
In 5 seconds before this shot, I knew he was going to shoot it. Just step back. He got space right there, and you can see it. It's going to go up, step back, knock it down. Boys, that feathery touch right there. Now will he go ahead and get in his rhythm and go again and attack? You know, when he gets going, a little microwave in his game.
Devo.
Oh!
The lob to Vanover. Can Cincinnati respond? Adams Woods, no. Vanover there defensively. Likes. Note, I thought he was going to shoot it initially, then he leaned into Madsen and got the foul call.
Boy, this team, when they get a little momentum on their side, man, they just go. Vanover devours the basket, and the Hog fans go crazy in here.
Well, the team fouls here in the second half. Pretty big discrepancy. That's already 10 team fouls against the Bearcats, so Arkansas is already in the double bonus, not even halfway through this second half. Only 3 team fouls against the Razorbacks, and you see the difference, half 1 to 2 for Note.
Yeah, Wes Miller now is going to bring in a couple bigs and Vic Locken to get more physical inside, and Odi Oguama as well. Feels like he might need another athlete on that floor with Oguama, and Vic Locken, just a big, strong Russian dude from Moscow. Played for Cheska, one of the great programs in the world.
Note knocks them all down from the line. The 6-point lead equals the largest of the night now for the Razorbacks. It's an 8-0 run for Arkansas. Saunders acrobatically to the rim.
The Roadrunner.
Was in the blink of an eye.
He's fun to watch. He's so fast. He can run from baseline to baseline, back to the other baseline in like 2.9 seconds. Some crazy number.
Note gets by Adams Woods, lost the dribble. Loose ball comes to the corner. It's out to Cincinnati. Got a stopwatch on this replay. Let's see how fast this was, huh? Oh, we're going to slow it down.
Just the acceleration. You know, once he lowers his shoulder, he stays low. He's got his pads low to the ground like the great running backs that we've seen over the course of decades and decades. And this kid, I mean, he just explodes through the hole.
DeJulius trying to beat Vanover to the rim and did so. Really nice play by DeJulius.
Do you see how he used his shoulders right there to hold off the big fella and go back to his left hand? I mean, that is strength right there from number 5, David DeJulius.
Now he has 16 points.
These are 2 top 25 basketball teams, period.
Cincinnati.
I know Arkansas is already ranked. Cincinnati should be.
They already got a win over a ranked team, Illinois, yesterday, trying to make it back-to-back nights, but it has gone back and forth in Kansas City in this championship game.
I like this lineup the best for Cincinnati when they've got Mike Saunders and David DeJulius in the game at the same time. You've got tremendous speed with one point guard. You've got tremendous strength with the other point guard. And you got high IQ from both of them. There it is.
Well designed. Saunders giving it to Locken. 51 all, under 9 minutes to go, and a 6-0 run here by Cincinnati has tied it up. Devo drives. Devo scores.
I mean, John Newman III played great defense on that play. He stayed in front of Devo Davis the entire time. Saunders from deep, mark it down. Mike Saunders feeling it here.
The other way. Not there for Likes. Tony tumbling down. Oguama trying to hand it to DeJulius. Tied up. Possession arrow, Cincinnati.
Boy, Mike Saunders just so fun to watch when he gets it going like he was last night. Just a dynamite offensive threat for Wes Miller.
It was interesting to see how he drug his left foot, almost like he had skates on, to stop himself.
Yeah, he's quick to stop. He's quick to start. He's faster than... I'm trying to think of the Olympic sprinter. Here's the Olympic sprinter from Jamaica.
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. There we go. Thanks for bailing me out.
You got it, brother.
I knew Kofi Coburn was not.
Yeah, it was not Kofi. He's from Jamaica.
Yeah, he's from Jamaica. Look at that. He's just blowing by guys.
DeJulius, nice little head fake. Floater falls around and in. I got every bit of the rim, but it went down, and 18 for DeJulius.
Those two guards are going to be hard to guard in the American. They're hard to guard tonight.
Note from the right elbow, leaning in and out. Offensive rebound. Tony, no, there will not be a third opportunity.
Now Locken with the challenge right there. Knocked Tony a little bit off his gate. Just enough to miss.
DeJulius. Locken went over the top and is going to be called over the back. But we come to a timeout. What do the Razorbacks have left here now?
Boy, we have had some fun watching J.D. Note knock down that shot. And then Devo Davis. Conover. How about the Razorbacks? Can they come back and win the championship?
'21 Hall of Fame Classic Championship between the Bearcats and Razorbacks. Hey, what a Thanksgiving week lineup we have for you tomorrow. Steph and the Warriors take on the Sixers in the second game of our NBA doubleheader. Thanksgiving night, it's the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Then an original six matchup, Rangers, Bruins in the NHL from the Garden in Boston. And our Saturday night football matchup, Bedlam from Stillwater, Oklahoma State. That is a lineup to be thankful for. As we went to break that last time out, Mike Saunders needed some help getting off the floor. He seems to be okay. Hopefully, maybe just a cramp. The athletic trainer just kind of gave him a look, gave him some water, and looks like perhaps he's all right.
Yep, he was walking around just fine. I'm sure Wes Miller doesn't want to sit him for very long. So now Micah Adams-Woods enters the lineup along with DeJulius as the guard tandem.
1 and 2 for Williams. Again, Arkansas's been in the double bonus for a while now.
A little full court pressure here.
Meanwhile, Arkansas's got a lot of fouls to give. Just 3 team fouls against them in this second half.
Well, they move their feet so well defensively. They anticipate well. They're in good backside position. When you do that, you don't foul much.
Davis went over the top of the screen, but it comes back. Koval off the mark with a 3. Long pass. Devo Davis tried to give it to Tony coming to the rim, but he couldn't handle it. DeJulius. A foul on that first shot. A push will send DeJulius to the line. Second foul on Jalen Williams. Just the 4th team foul of the half against the Razorbacks.
You know, DeJulius knows with Saunders out of the game, then he takes over the primary role to push the pace. And he also gets low and is explosive. He has such great lower body strength. As we take a look at Mike Saunders, it's going to be interesting to see if he'll come back in the game. There's David DeJulius averaging 10 points a game, 29 tonight. He went off against Temple last year at Temple. Big win, road win for UC. I mean, he showed that he can take over a team if he wants to offensively or be the distributor. Multi-talented point guard. David DeJulius
has 20 points tonight. 4-point lead for the Bearcats. Davis, long 2. Off the hands of Davenport. Back up Tony. He's fouled.
That's a 1-2 rebound right there. Aldis Tony was matched up with Jeremiah Davenport. Aldis Tony wanted the ball more. I mean, that was a 50-50 rebound that Aldis Tony just decided, it's mine, not yours.
Pittsburgh transfer at the line. Shooting 2. Swishes the first.
clutch.
Hogs want to kick up the defensive pressure full court, but Julius into the front court for UC.
He's so herky-jerky. He plays at so many different speeds. His hesitation move is elite.
Adams-Wood stumbling. Blocking foul against Arkansas. Was 6:08 to go against Williams, who's picked up a couple of quick fouls and 3 total now tonight. Changes Cincinnati, but Saunders for now staying on the bench for the Bearcats. Note says, yeah, that one's on me. His second.
Yeah, DeJulius, the way that he plays, stop and go, accelerate, slow up, accelerate again. He's just so hard to anticipate.
Lockett has a height advantage on Tony. He's bodied up, goes to the left shoulder and lays it in.
That's where he's good, when he doesn't try to do too much.
Likes, catch and shoot 3.
Bingo.
Got it!
Tough little dude.
Number 11 has 11 points to make this a 1-point game.
The point guard play on both ends has been elite tonight. This is NCAA tournament type decision making.
DeJulius off the back rim. Long pass. Tony taking it to the rim, and the Razorbacks are back in front. Timeout, Cincinnati.
Chris Likes made clutch free throws last night, and now with under 6 to go, the biggest 3 of the night. And then you've got Audie's Tony finishing on the other end. All he does is find ways to help you win.
Union Station all decorated for the holiday season in Kansas City. We have saved the best for last, our 4th game in 2 days here. And it is a high-level matchup between 2 undefeated teams. Our leading scorers so far tonight for each team, DeJulius and Tony.
Yeah, David DeJulius with that hesitation move, been so effective, this cerebral play. And Audie's Tony, as Eric Musselman describes him as, he really saves us with his unselfish play. The highest compliment a coach can give to a player.
Look who is back in the game for Cincinnati. Mike Saunders is in there.
What a cut.
Back cut to Julius, back to Lockett, stripped away. On the run, the Hogs. Likes, crossover dribble, tough shot, hit the bottom of the rim, got it back. Oh. Note with the fake of all fakes. Likes does the same. Is somebody going to put a shot up? Note will take it to the wing. Now he runs to Locken. There's the shot. It bounces off the rim.
How about the defensive footwork of Locken right there? That big kid can really move his feet. He's going to be special.
They stop play as Tony, I don't know if he wears contacts, whatever the case. It's like he's kind of holding something in his hand as he's coming off the floor.
Yeah, I think there was contact by Locken on that last shot.
And the crowd, which is vastly slanted towards the Razorbacks.
He might have got it elbowed.
Not happy with it. Let's take another look at it.
Oh, right there. Right there. As Locken came down, he caught Tony in the face.
Well, the
they're
officials,
they're
going to take a look at this.
Look at it.
And see if this is a flagrant foul. You know, Lockett, this is a great look at it. He just brings the arm down. I don't think there's anything intentional about that.
No,
that doesn't mean it can't be a flagrant foul.
Now, this is one of those rules where if you see evidence of a potential flagrant foul, you can review it. And so we will play on. They've already looked at it. They decided it was a basketball play, and it was. Incidental contact, and we move on.
So they're working on Tony at the end of the Razorback bench.
Hopefully he can come back because he's such an impactful player, that unselfishness that he brings to this Razorback squad.
DeJulius' three off the left side. Tip Guama. Then Likes is called for the foul underneath as he was trying to block out Newman. He just threw that backside out as far as he could, and the baseline official called him for the foul.
So I am going to
yes.
I'm going to say that, number one, by rule, that's the right call. But by common sense, that's an awful call. All Chris Likes was doing was blocking off, which is what I want my player to do. And he's a little bit short of stature, got into his legs. I mean, I know why they made the call. I just don't agree with it because I think that it goes beyond that to more of a common sense call.
Well, Cincinnati missed the front end of the one-on-one at the other end. Now a one and done for the Razorbacks. 4 minutes to go in Kansas City in the Hall of Fame Classic Championship game. Saunders goes crashing to the floor. A late whistle there. It's going to be a foul against Cincinnati. Under 4 minutes to go. Don't go anywhere. An exciting finish lies ahead from KC. To college basketball is brought to you by the National Association of Basketball Coaches. NABC members serve as guardians of the game. And the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame, honoring the sport's past and present. More looks at the induction ceremony from Sunday night here in Kansas City. The 8-person class for 2021. This is the championship game. Playing for this trophy right here. During the break, Tony had a cut right around his left eyebrow looked at. It has been sufficiently repaired to get him back in the game.
That is a huge game story for the Razorbacks as Devo Davis knocks down the first free throw. But Audi's Tony, we've talked about all the unselfish plays that he makes offensively, but defensively he makes a huge difference too. A rangy athlete.
A 7-0 run for Arkansas has given them a 3-point lead with under 4 minutes to play in Kansas City. Koval, three, good, a huge three for the Bearcats at a big time to tie it.
Does Wes Miller know which buttons to push? He uses his personnel as well as any coach around, and at a young age, just brilliant.
Second three for Koval tonight. Underneath, Tony fouled. Now he'll visit the line for 2 shots.
I mean, this is a called play. This is real simple. A little pick and pop for the big fella. When you're 7 feet, you know you're going to have a smaller defender on you. Koval just knocks it down.
A design play for a 7'1" three-point shooter. I love it.
Yeah, Wes Miller calls him the most mature player he's ever coached. He said he's more mature than me. When me, I mean Wes Miller.
Yes.
He's obviously more mature.
Probably more mature than you and I as well.
No question. So disciplined.
Big free throw. Makes it a 1-point game. 15 for Tony. DeJulius down the left side of the lane to kiss it in.
We knew this was going to come down to this.
How good has DeJulius been tonight?
He's been really good this season. I mean, what he's come back from, Mark, is just remarkable.
Tony, offensive rebound. Looking to go back up. Does strong. And Tony with 17. Razorbacks by 1. Back and forth we go.
Winner number 5. Audi's Tony.
Down the left side of the lane again, but this time it had Tony on him. They're going to call Tony for the foul, his second.
Audi's Tony is one of the best 1-2 players in America. He just beats Locken to the spot and then quick to the basket and just powers up through 2 7-footers. How bad does that kid want to win a championship? That's a winner.
Tony, by the way, has 5 offensive rebounds tonight.
There's not one coach in the country that wouldn't want Audi's Tony on his team. You can win 5 more games a season just because you have him on your roster.
Julius solid at the line. Bearcats by 1. Debo lost the handle. He's fortunate it bounced off a Bearcat right to Williams. Williams, one dribble, spin. Davis with 4 on the shot clock. It hit the rim, but Odiaguama comes down with it.
Elite half-court defense. Elite. Elite basketball game.
And we go under 2 minutes. The ball in a 1-point lead for Cincinnati in this championship game in Kansas City. Note diving. Tony. Tell you what, if he'd gotten that to fall, this place would have come down with the Razorback fans. Nonetheless, he'll visit the line for 2. But what effort after the deflection into the backcourt.
J.D. Note, just a battle for the loose ball. First to floor, both of them down there. Then Tony again, nose for the ball. Okay, this feels like March. This doesn't feel like November. This feels like 2 great coached teams. 2 teams that are together.
See, Tony's 5 of 6 from the line tonight. What a game. What are we going to see in the next 137? And that might not be all the basketball that's left in this game.
More of the same.
Yeah.
More of the same. These 2 fighting dogs aren't going to back down.
Clutch free throws, 68-67 Razorbacks. Hog fans, which are the vast majority, to their feet. Saunders gets it into the front court and calls a timeout. Well, one of the changes for college basketball this year is that both teams have the ability to use the Shot Tracker app at their bench. This is the iPad Shot Tracker. There are so many things from a standpoint of analytics that they can do. Take us through it.
Yeah, this is really a neat. It's live. It's in game. This is actually from the last game, but I can go into ball movement and see, okay, how did teams scores on paint touches, for example, and then how many points did they score on those paint touches, and which side of the floor as well. You can go to ball screens, see how the team did in ball screens. So in real time during timeouts, coaches have access on their iPad as to who's performing well, who isn't, which lineups are performing well. I can look at my best 5 in certain situations as to who is producing, bringing the most points in that particular possession. So you can use it when you're bringing players inside and out. You can use it as a decision as to what kind of play you want, a ball screen or a paint touch. There's a lot of different ways to use Shot Tracker. Real-time technology for information to make coaches more intentional in their decision-making process.
Speaking of decisions, what do you think, Wes Miller? Where does he want to get the basketball in this crucial possession?
Well, he brought Jeremiah Davenport back into the game right now. Of course, Davenport has struggled tonight, but I think he's going to pick and pop him, which he just did right there.
Davenport scoreless tonight. 0 for 3 from the field. The Julius. Davenport. Williams skies to get the rebound. They
Williams
did get it to Davenport. Yep. 1 minute to go in Kansas City in the Hall of Fame Classic Championship game.
After Davenport, you have to have a short memory. You got to guard this guy.
Note gets a step on him, missed the shot. Williams gives it up. No for Tony. He'll pull it back. And now Coach Musselman says, let's eat some clock. They have the 1-point lead.
Another 1-2 rebound by Audi's Tony. He's just been tremendous tonight.
Shot clock gets to 7. Likes moving on to Julius. 15-footers up. Tip. Devo chases it down. And now Cincinnati must foul, elect to foul, and do so with 22 seconds left. Big offensive rebounds. Razorbacks now as a team with 18 offensive boards.
This game has been a test of toughness. And we saw Audi's Tony be the toughest guy on the floor for the previous rebound, and that time Devo Davis with the biggest rebound of his season this year. And now Likes, who was 10 for 10 from the free throw line last night, can he step up and make these big free throws?
Davenport comes out.
This test of toughness still has 21.8 seconds to go, and I don't think either team's going to back down. Big-time basketball in Kansas City.
No doubt about that tonight. Who's going to walk away with the trophy? Likes again. Money down the stretch from the line. Down 3. Shot clock off. Under 20 seconds to play in regulation.
Saunders has to attack.
Saunders does attack. Gives it up. Offensive foul. Williams took the charge.
A test of toughness. And Jalen Williams gets an A+ on the test, coming down the stretch with 9.6 seconds to go. Perfectly played.
They foul Likes. Down to 8.8 seconds left. If Likes makes either of these 2 free throws, he will make it a 2-possession game and make it extremely difficult for Cincinnati here to come back.
Still 8.8 to go. And with a guy like Mike Saunders, who can get up and down the floor in about 2.5 seconds to the rim, that's still enough time.
He's not even hitting rim.
Nope.
2-possession game. 13th ranked Arkansas, 4-point lead.
Boy, so many tough plays made by Likes. Tony.
Wow.
Williams.
DeJulius races ahead. Floater in and out. Williams winds up with the ball in his arms. It's over. Arkansas in a big battle with Cincinnati outlast the Bearcats, and the 13th ranked team in the nation stays unbeaten to go to 5-0. They are going to take a look at the clock to make sure the time has run out. But even if they put a marginal amount of time up, they're going to put 1.2 seconds up. As far as the outcome of this game, it will be inconsequential, but it's not over as of yet.
Boy, Arkansas really showed me something tonight. Come in as the nationally ranked team. They gutted out a win last night against a very game Kansas State. They come back tonight against the Cincinnati ball club, who's a top 25 level ball club for sure, and found a way to tough it out. What a tremendous win for the Arkansas Razorbacks tonight.
So Arkansas is going to go to 5-0. Cincinnati will lose for the first time this year. They'll be 5-1. Arkansas next plays on Sunday at home against Penn on SEC Network. (73-67). A 6-point win. And Arkansas ends the game on a 7-0 run, and they win it by 6, 73-67.
Arkansas earned this win, but the future in Cincinnati, holy cow. Wes Miller can coach, and he's got a roster that he can put into the right positions at the right time. Congratulations to the Arkansas Razorbacks. You beat one heck of a basketball team tonight by being just a little bit tougher down the stretch.
For Eric Musselman's Razorbacks, for the program, it's their first in-season neutral court tournament win since the 2006-2007 season, when they beat SIU, Marist, and West Virginia to win the Old Spice Classic in Orlando, Florida. We saw a whale of a basketball game tonight, Mark Adams.
Back and forth, up and down, big-time plays by big-time players. Welcome back to college basketball in the COVID environment where we all can be joyful and celebrate our game. And it has been a hell of a game tonight.
It's been an outstanding couple of days here in Kansas City. Thanks to our great crew. For Mark Adams, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks for sharing this one with us. Arkansas wins the 2021 Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City.